Failure is not a four-letter word. It's the admission fee to success. It's hard to imagine, but you have to learn how to fail, because that's where the real lessons lie. Let those words sink in for a moment. In a world that worships overnight sensations and get-rich-quick schemes, the concept of embracing failure seems antithetical. From a young age, we're conditioned to fear failure, to avoid it at all costs. But what if I told you that the greatest winners are not those who never fail, but those who fail the most? And keep going? The path to achieving your dreams is littered with setbacks, rejections, and gut-wrenching disappointments. It's a gauntlet that will test your resolve, your tenacity, and your willingness to push through when every fiber of your being screams, give up. But you can't give up. Not if you want to join the ranks of the truly extraordinary, the visionaries, the trailblazers, the history makers who dared to dream bigger than their circumstances. Think of the great inventors. Thomas Edison endured thousands of failed attempts before perfecting the light bulb. But instead of surrendering to defeat, he learned from every mistake, inching ever closer to his eureka moment. Or consider Abraham Lincoln, a man whose life was a tapestry of setbacks and challenges. Failed businesses, a nervous breakdown, defeated in his first bid for Congress. Yet he pressed on, letting the sting of failure galvanize his determination until he ultimately reached the pinnacle of political leadership as the 16th president. The ability to persist in the face of failure is what separates the wildly successful from the also-rans. It's the hidden ingredient, more valuable than talent, more powerful than privilege. And make no mistake, acquiring that tenacity is a conscious choice. No one is born with an infinite well of grit. It must be cultivated, fortified through the refiner's fire of adversity. That's why I'm here today, to fan the flames of your passion, to stoke the fire that will propel you through the inevitable setbacks on your journey. Because you will encounter failure, make no mistake about. The question is like, what will you do when it knocks you flat on your back, stealing the wind from your lungs? Will you stay down and surrender to the seductive whispers of quitting? Or will you clamber back to your feet, battered but not broken, and soldier on with a renewed sense of purpose? The choice is yours, but let me remind you, every time you pick yourself up after failure, your character is fortified. The courage to begin again becomes hardwired into your psyche. You cultivate the single most valuable asset in the pursuit of greatness, resilience. Just look at the supreme examples throughout history, from the downtrodden colonies that triumphed over the British Empire to the first African-American president overcoming centuries of injustice and institutionalized racism. What enabled their improbable victories? An unwavering refusal to abandon their dreams in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. So when the winds of opposition howl with disapproval and scorn, I implore you, do not be moved. Remain steadfast, unshakable in your quest. Let every failure, every rejection, every fleeting taste of disappointment fuel your hunger for achievement. Because here's the harsh truth. Nothing worthwhile was ever accomplished through comfort and ease. Greatness must be wrested from the jaws of adversity. Those celebrated as heroes and pioneers did not simply stumble into their success. No, they were forged in the crucible of turmoil, emerging from the flame stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Perhaps you dream of founding a world-changing company like Apple or Amazon. Or maybe your ambitions are more personal, to be a loving parent, a pillar of your community. Whatever your Everest may be, there is no prize for those who prematurely abandon the climb. So prepare yourself mentally. Expect turbulence, because it's a certainty on any meaningful journey. But know this, the storm is temporary, a mere obstacle to be surmounted. And once you crack the code of resilience, cultivating the tenacity to fight on when you desperately want to surrender, you unlock powers within yourself that cannot be. You become unstoppable, unfazed by the setbacks that topple those of weaker constitutions. Where others falter, you draw strength. Where the doubters scoff, you work with increased vigor. Failure ceases to be something to be feared, but an inevitable storm to be weathered on your quest for greatness. Now, I'm not naive. Persevering through adversity is easier pontificated than done. There will be moments when quitting seems like the logical choice, when the risks of pressing on appear to outweigh the potential rewards. In those dark hours, I urge you to harness the motivational power of your why. The burning reason that propelled you on this journey in the first place. Was it to build financial security for your family? To blaze a trail for those who will follow? To prove the naysayers wrong and etch your name amongst the immortals? Let that why be the Lotta star that guides you safely through the darkness, a beacon that reignites your passion when the flames of commitment start to flicker. Because I guarantee you, on the other side of that metaphorical storm lies the paradise you seek. The dreams you've worked so hard to manifest. But you'll never witness that promised land if you abandon the voyage prematurely. Just recall the words of the ancient mariners Columbus sailed on in the face of mutiny from his crew because he refused to give up his vision of a new world. When the raging winds of adversity try to blow you off course, do not waver. Remember why you started? Dig your heels in and keep pressing forward, one grueling step at a time. Be relentless in the pursuit of your goals. Outwork your doubters, out-hustle the competition, and outlast the inevitable setbacks that try to keep you shackled in the purgatory of mediocrity. Refuse to give up, refuse to surrender your dreams to the army of critics and skeptics. Stand resolute and unwavering, emboldened by the scars of past failures. Because in this life, there are no rewards for those who prematurely throw in the towel. The winners, the achievers, the history makers are not defined by a life of comfort, but by their willingness to endure discomfort in the name of something greater than themselves. That fire, that driving impulse to climb higher, push harder, it burns within each of you. It brought you to this arena today, hungry for the knowledge and motivation to chase your Everest. So let this be the spark that ignites an inferno of determination within your soul, an inferno that cannot be extinguished by the winds of opposition, rejection, or failure. Let this moment mark your refusal to be just another face in the crowd. Commit here and now to being a rock, impervious to the crashing waves of adversity that prematurely capsize so many dreamers. From this day forward, you are a lion who won't be caged by the limits of your circumstances. You are an unstoppable force of persistence and resilience. This is your declaration to the world. I won't give up. You can throw every obstacle in my path, but I will claw my way to the summit, because I was born to achieve greatness. And greatness does not come from comfort zones. It is mined from the depths of adversity and forged with the white-hot flames of perseverance. So embrace the journey with all its perils and pitfalls. Celebrate the failures, for they are mere course corrections on your path to victory. And never, ever, ever give up on your wildest ambitions. Because in the end, the only way to achieve true meaning and fulfillment is to slay the demon of complacency and chase the immortality that comes from realizing your ultimate potential. The choice is yours. Surrender your dreams to the path of least resistance, or fight like a warrior to claim the prize that you were destined for. What's it going to be? The path ahead will not be easy, my friends. In fact, I can guarantee that it will be arduous, replete with obstacles that will test the very fiber of your being. The road to your dreams is rugged terrain filled with pitfalls and posted with danger signs urging you to turn back. But you cannot heed those warnings. You can't allow the voice of doubt and fear to divert you from your destined path, for the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single, defiant step in the face of opposition. Consider the plight of the eagle, that most majestic creature whose ability to soar to unimaginable heights is unparalleled in the natural world. Does the eagle attain its lofty domain by chance or whimsy? No, its ascension is hard-fought, battling fierce winds and buffeting storms every step of the climb. And make no mistake, those howling winds of resistance will come for you as well. Try to knock you off course through the voice of the doubters and naysayers. Maybe it will be the bitter detractor lurking on the sidelines waiting to rejoice in your failure. Or perhaps it will be your own imprisoned mind whispering seductive thoughts of quitting when the climb gets too vertical. But you must rebel against those winds, those voices urging surrender and complacency. Steel your mind and borrow the determined refrain of the Spartans at Thermopylae. Then we'll fight in the shade. For true winners are not defined by the absence of adversity, but by their defiance in the face of it. Think of the great titans who shaped our world. Revolutionaries, all who refused to bend to the gale force's counseling retreat. What if the Wright brothers had listened to the pundits who scoffed at their dream of air travel? Or Susan B. Anthony had meekly accepted the second-class status afforded to women of her era. No, they pressed on, because they had a vision that transcended the myopic jeers of the critics. That obstinate refusal to capitulate in the face of resistance, that persistent belief in themselves when few others could see their vision, that is the secret sauce. That unshakable resolve is what ultimately allowed them to move mountains and bend the arc of history through force of will. So you must develop that same granite-like determination, an unbreakable spirit that weathers every squall and storm that blows against your dreams. Let the insults of the canned crowd ricochet off you as you march ever forward with dogged focus. And when the inevitable setbacks arrive, and they will come, trust me on that, do not falter. Do not interpret those short-term failures as a verdict on your ultimate capabilities. No, see them for what they truly are. Harsh tutors preparing you for the final victory through the tuition of experience. After all, every master was once a stumbling novice made battle-hardened through the gauntlet of mistakes. Every champion was once a rookie absorbing brutal defeats before learning to win. Their losses in those early days were not a signal to abandon their quest, but course corrections plotting the way to eventual triumph. So you cannot fear the failures, but must embrace them as way stations on your road to mastery, just as a student must endure grueling practice and correction to gain competency. Your failures are simply the price you must pay for admission to the winner's circle. And if you study the icons, the Michael Jordans, the Henry Fords, the Milton Hersheys, you'll find that the pathway to their immortality was littered with more missteps than highlights early on. But it was their stubborn defiance in the face of those stumbles that set them apart from the also-rans. In cases, Ernest himself, cut from the varsity team as a skinny sophomore, enduring criticism about his selfish playing style, missing game-winning shots that crushed his team's championship dreams. But rather than surrender to those cruel blows, he metabolized the pain and disappointment into an unquenchable thirst for greatness. So when you inevitably face those gut-punching defeats in your own pursuit, do not lament. Instead, look at them as profoundly valuable lessons, for they are gifting you the priceless wisdom that can only be mined from failure's quarry. Take those lumps and extract the insight about what went wrong, where your techniques faltered, what adjustments you need to make. Then get back on the horse with even more voracious hunger to conquer the mountain. You will get it right eventually, this I can promise. If you just refuse to surrender, that's the mindset of a winner. An unwavering belief in their abilities and the dogged persistence to outlast every setback. Not through bluster or arrogance, but through a profound inner confidence in their ultimate capacity for achievement. And while the critics and naysayers may wage their campaigns of mockery and derision, realize that they're simply voicing their own insecurities and limitations. They cannot fathom your willingness to charge fearlessly against the windmills of adversity because their own dreams have already shriveled on the vine of complacency. So let them jape and scorn, secure in the knowledge that their mockery is the ultimate compliment, for they wouldn't expend such energy and venom attacking you if they didn't fear the potential of your ambitions. No, you cannot be deterred by their bitter pantomime. Your vision is too grand, your desire for triumph too insatiable to allow their poisonous barbs to penetrate your armor. They are but petty foot soldiers in the regiment of resistance you must vanquish. Because when you reach the summit, when the panorama of your ultimate victory finally unveils itself in all its majesty, those puny voices of cynicism will be drowned out. For in the end, the only opinion that will matter is the deafening roar of your own self-belief shouting you did it. So prepare yourself mentally for that final push, even when your lungs are heaving and your limbs scream for respite. Gird your loins for the labors ahead, for the summit of your dreams lies just beyond the cloud bank of challenges obscuring your view. And as you rest at the peak, your ultimate validation will come from within, from that resolute spirit that refused to bend, that subsumed every failure as mere sustenance for persistence. You will know then the profound truth of Teddy Roosevelt's maxim, nothing in the world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, difficulty. For it was that crucible of adversity that gifted you the unbreakable metal to withstand the harshest storms. You will emerge not just a success by the world's accounting, but an inspiration for anyone who dreams of unseating the tyranny of their own self-imposed limits. And when you achieve that apotheosis, that elevation to the realm of those who defied the odds through sheer force of will, the value of your perseverance will become clear. The sacrifices, the trials, the thousands of self-doubting murmurs you quashed along the way, all of it was the price of admission to join the immortal ranks of those who dared to answer history's call. So again, I implore you, do not relent in your pursuit, even when the summit seems impossibly distant. Do not bargain with the self-sabotaging voices urging retreat to the safety of mediocrity. You were destined for so much more than a life of ease and stagnation. No, you must push forward, climbing inexorably toward the pinnacle of your abilities, reaching into your soul's well of boundless determination. Claw your way over every obstacle, letting the friction of resistance leave you burnished and hardened like a diamond emerging from the white-hot pressures of the Earth's mantle. And ultimately, when you plant your flag at the summit, breathless yet undaunted in your conquest, you will join the rarefied fraternity of visionaries who refuse to abandon their obsession. For it will be that stubborn refusal to surrender your dreams, even when quitting seemed the rational choice, that will engrave your name amongst the immortals who moved humanity forward. The path will be tortuous, make no mistake. But keep the faith, persevere through every storm, and you will reach those rarefied heights reserved for those willing to sacrifice everything in pursuit of their obsession. It won't be easy, but nothing worth achieving ever is. So let this be your eternal mantra, your defiant roar that echoes across the valleys of temporary setbacks. I won't give up. Say it aloud, and let those 4 words reverberate through your core, steeling your spine for the hard road ahead. Let it be your battle cry and prime mover when the sirens of surrender try to seduce you from your quest. Let it be your credo, now and forevermore. I won't give up. The human spirit is an extraordinary force, capable of achieving miracles when stoked by an unshakable resolve. But that indomitable persistence does not arise from mere willpower alone. No, it must be nurtured, fortified through daily discipline and routines that create unstoppable habits. You see, while our motivations ebb and flow like the tides, habits are the steadfast undertow, driving us relentlessly toward our goals. They are the guardrails keeping us on the path when the inevitable fatigue and doubts try to steer us into the ditch of complacency. So you must be intentional about developing the habits that will breed the necessary resilience. You must proactively construct the rituals and routines that will propel you through the stormy seas of setbacks. Because when failure's icy waves crash over the whales, it will be those entrenched habits that keep you upright and on course. What does this look like in practice? It starts with something as fundamental as how you initiate your days. Are you beginning each morning with habits engineered to focus your mind on your objectives? Or are you mindlessly lurching from the chime of the alarm into reactionary mode? Construct a morning ritual that instills a sense of laser-focused intention from the moment your eyes open. It could be as simple as reciting affirmations of your capability while visually ingraining images of your goals. Or perhaps a formulaic routine of breathing exercises, visualization and reviewing your quarterly benchmarks. The specifics matter less than the deliberate act of creating unconscious patterns that arm your psyche for battle before the day's first distractions try to accost you. For when you emerge each dawn forged in the habits of a champion, you become impervious to the landmines that derail those who start each day aimlessly wandering onto the battlefield of life. Sustaining this forward momentum throughout the day is equally crucial in the architecture of perseverance. You cannot simply begin with intentionality and then passively await results. No, you must remain hyper-vigilant, routinely beating back the inertia and malaise that tries to usurp your hard-won morning mindset. Implement habits and routines designed to frequently return your mind to your aims while shutting out the static of distraction. Perhaps this means scheduling reminders to review your goals at set intervals throughout the workday. Or maybe it looks like brief interludes to reset with breathing exercises or affirmations whenever you feel your focus waning. The mechanics are less important than fostering the mentality that you are always just a few intentional breaths away from recentering on your purposes. This cultivates a potent form of mental calisthenics, fortifying your willpower through the repetitive exercise of resisting the omnipresent summons from shiny distractions. And as the workday transitions to your evening hours, do not abandon these sustaining habits and routines. In many ways, the nighttime ritual may be the most crucial component in architecting an unstoppable persistence. For it is in these still moments, when the frenetic noise of the world fades, that the demons of doubt and fatigue creep in whispering you to relent, to postpone your crusade in favor of the comfort they offer. You must be militant in erecting the spiritual guardrails that will insulate you from these atmospheric conditions, ripe for surrendering your dreams. Develop routines for winding down in a manner that provides the requisite renewal while also preserving the precious momentum cultivated throughout the day. Perhaps this looks like journaling sessions, where you not only reflect on the day's achievements, but also recommit your intentions in writing for the day ahead. Or maybe it involves reading a few pages from a biography of someone who embodied the struggles and tenacity you seek to emulate. Regardless of the specifics, these evening routines must achieve two objectives: providing the mental palate cleanse for rejuvenating rest, while also planting the seeds of determination that will germinate in the stillness of your subconscious overnight. When done habitually, you create an endless cycle of psychological conditioning that wires your consciousness for resolved pursuit of your aims. So while the world slumbers, visions of your cheerful persistence will be taking root, crowding out any potential for resting on short-term laurels or surrendering to lowered expectations when the inevitable gauntlet of resistance arrives in you in the morning light. You will awaken each dawn regenerated and recommitted, your reservoirs of determination fully replenished through the powerful oxyguan of your evening routines. Long after the honeymoon phase of motivation has waned, these entrenched rituals will keep fanning the flames of your obsession as you march unrelentingly toward your Everest. This profound capacity to sustain intense perseverance resides within each of you. It is simply a matter of developing the habits that act as the wicks for the eternal fire of your ambition. When those habits become not mere routines, but deeply grooved patterns of being, you attain a state of unconscious permanence in your persistence. It ceases to be an active exercise of willpower and instead becomes hardwired into your operating system at a foundational level, an unconscious automation of intensity and forward momentum. This is the plane of existence inhabited by the immortals who dominate every endeavor, for their habits have anointed them with a supernatural power to pursue their obsessions unrelentingly. So commit now to edifying the habits and rituals that will elevate you to this rarefied air of cheerful persistence. Guard your morning meditation over coffee as sacrosanct, refusing to sacrifice it to the urgency of the day's trifles. Fight daily to recalibrate your drives through interludes of affirmation and visualization, and zealously protect your evening routines that will refortify your ambition overnight. It is through the machinery of habit that we ascend from the gravitational pull of our circumstances and setbacks. The development of these unconscious patterns create the psychological muscle memory that sustains us when the conscious fatigue sets in. And when you have inculcated the habits of champions as the new homeostasis of your being, you will find that you have attained an unbridled form of freedom, for you will no longer be encumbered by the restraints of finite motivation and fleeting inspiration. Your persistence will be coded into your core operating system. Giving up, surrendering to the ease of complacency, these will register as errors in your programming, as alien and unlikely as a lifelong vegan developing a hankering for slabs of beef. You will continue pressing onward, scaling every precipice, because anything less would be a betrayal of your deeply grooved identity as an unstoppable force. So become a student of the habits and routines that breed unshakable persistence. Model those who have walked this path before you, extrapolating the rituals that empowered them with a stubborn refusal to abandon their obsessions. And then internalize those processes until they become not rote routines, but unconscious, automated responses. Only then will you join the immortal ranks, those supreme creatures hardwired for an infinite tenacity in pursuing their grandest ambitions without relent or surrender. The path will still be arduous, the climb still fraught with pitfalls that await to unhinge those of lesser constitutions. But for you, giving up will register as an alien concept, as plausible as a mighty oak talking itself into being an acorn again. You will be animated by the habits of perseverance, a perpetual motion machine of purpose and persistence. But I'll leave you with this final char. Become a connoisseur of the rituals and routines that breed unflagging tenacity. Study them, implement them with daily discipline until they become not actions but reactions. Only then will you sustain the cheerful resilience required to outlast every storm that tries to divert you from your Everest. It owes to the persistent those who match insatiable obsession with the habits and routines that make relenting inconceivable. Commit to joining their mortal ranks by hardwiring the required habits into your daily operating code. And then nothing, neither failure, fatigue, nor fiery resistance, will derail you from claiming the ultimate victory that awaits. Because when perseverance is your perpetual home state, merely existing becomes an act of defiance against the tyranny of surrender. The choice to inculcate these habits is yours, but choose wisely, for that decision will script whether you fade into the obscurity of complacency or it's your name among the immortal icons who refuse to abandon their obsession no matter the pain of persisting. So what will it be? A life of ease and settled mediocrity, or the grading climb toward immortal greatness fueled by the indelible habits of champions? Decide this day who you will serve, the gravity of lowered expectations or the starry-eyed pursuit of realizing your boundless potential. The choice is yours, but I implore you to walk the uncommon path. Build the habits that breed persistence, and then you simply cannot be stopped in your ascent to the summit of your aspirations. The journey of progress is paved with challenges, setbacks, and moments that test our resolve. We often hear the phrase, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. But have we truly grasped its profound meaning? A time when you faced a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. Perhaps it was a career setback, a personal loss, or a goal that felt just out of reach. In those moments, the struggle felt all-consuming, didn't it? But here's the truth. Those very struggles are the catalyst for your greatest achievements. Years ago, I met a young entrepreneur named Caroline. Fresh out of college, Caroline had a brilliant idea for a tech startup. She poured her heart and soul into her business plan, convinced she had the next big thing. But when she presented her idea to investors, she was met with rejection after rejection. Each no felt like a punch to the gut. Most people would have given up after the 10th rejection, but not Caroline. She saw each setback as valuable feedback. She refined her pitch, tweaked her business model, and persevered. After 47 rejections, yes, 47, she finally secured the funding she needed. Today, her company is valued at over $100 million and employs hundreds of people. Progress is born from struggle. Those 47 rejections weren't just obstacles. They were stepping stones. Each no pushed her to improve, to innovate, to become better than she was the day before. Now, you might be thinking, that's great for Caroline, but what about me? I am not trying to build $1 million company. The beauty of this principle is that it applies to every area of life, from the grandest ambitions to the smallest personal goals. Have you ever started a new exercise routine only to find yourself sore and exhausted after the first week? That struggle, the aching muscles, the mental battle to get up and go to the gym is precisely what leads to progress. Your body adapts, grows stronger, and becomes more resilient because of the challenges you put it through. The same principle applies to learning a new skill. Whether you're picking up a musical instrument, learning a new language, or mastering a professional skill, the initial struggle is inevitable. You will hit wrong notes, mispronounce words, and make mistakes. But each of these struggles is a crucial step towards mastery. Why struggle is so essential for progress? When we face challenges, our brains are forced to create new neural pathways. This process, known as neuroplasticity, is how we learn and grow. Without struggle, our brains would remain stagnant, our skills would plateau, and our personal growth would come to a grinding halt. Struggle builds resilience. Each time we face a challenge and overcome it, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of more than we thought possible. This builds a reservoir of confidence that we can draw upon in future challenges. Not all struggle leads to progress. The key is to engage in productive struggle, challenges that push us just beyond our current capabilities. This is what psychologists call the zone of proximal development. It's the sweet spot where the task is difficult enough to be challenging, but not so difficult that it becomes overwhelming. Finding this balance requires self-awareness and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone. It means setting goals that stretch you but don't break you. It means embracing discomfort as a sign of growth rather than a signal to retreat. Sometimes we need to choose the greater struggle to achieve greater progress. The comfortable path might seem appealing, but it rarely leads to significant growth. This principle extends beyond our professional lives. Think about relationships, for instance. The strongest bonds are often forged through shared struggles. Couples who weather financial hardships, health scares, or other life challenges together often emerge with a deeper, more resilient connection. Even in society at large, progress is invariably tied to struggle. Every major social advancement, from civil rights to technological breakthroughs, has come at the cost of tremendous effort and sacrifice. The struggle for equality, for innovation, for a better world is ongoing, and it's through this collective struggle that we inch closer to a more just and advanced society. Embracing struggle does not mean seeking out hardship for its own sake. It's not about making life unnecessarily difficult. Rather, it's about recognizing that challenges are an inevitable and necessary part of growth and approaching them with the right mindset. This mindset shift is crucial. Instead of viewing struggles as roadblocks, we need to see them as opportunities. Every problem becomes a chance to learn. Every setback a stepping stone to something greater. The Wright brothers didn't achieve flight on their first attempt. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb in one try. These breakthroughs came after countless failures, each one providing valuable data that brought them closer to success. In your own life, think about a time when you failed at something important to you. In the moment, it probably felt devastating, but with the benefit of hindsight, can you see how that failure taught you valuable lessons? How it made you stronger, more resilient, more prepared for future challenges? This is the paradox of struggle. While it's uncomfortable in the moment, it's the very thing that propels us forward. It's the resistance that builds our strength, the obstacles that clarify our path, the setbacks that fuel our determination. But how do we cultivate this mindset? How do we train ourselves to embrace struggle rather than shy away from it? Here are a few strategies to consider. First, reframe your perspective on challenges. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, try asking, how can I do this? This simple shift turns obstacles into puzzles to be solved, igniting your creativity and problem-solving skills. Second, set ambitious but achievable goals. Remember the concept of productive struggle we discussed earlier? Apply it to your goal setting. Aim for targets that push you out of your comfort zone but are still within the realm of possibility. Third, celebrate your efforts, not just your outcomes. Too often, we fixate on results and forget to acknowledge the growth that happens along the way. Take time to recognize the progress you have made, even if you haven't reached your ultimate goal yet. Fourth, surround yourself with people who understand and support your journey. Having a strong support system can make all the difference when you are in the thick of a struggle. These should be people who encourage you to push forward, but also provide a safety net when you need it. Fifth, practice self-compassion. Struggle is hard, and it's okay to acknowledge that. Be kind to yourself when things get tough. Remember, the fact that you are struggling means you are growing. I once met a woman named Elena at a conference. Elena had a successful career in marketing, but she'd always dreamed of being a writer. For years, she told herself she was too busy, too old, or not talented enough to pursue this dream. One day, Elena decided enough was enough. She committed to writing for an hour every day, no matter what. The first few weeks were torture. She stared at blank pages, wrote sentences only to delete them, and questioned her sanity for even trying. But Elena persevered. She joined a writing group, took classes, and submitted her work to literary magazines. The rejections piled up, but so did her skills. After a year of consistent effort, Elena had completed her first novel. Was it a bestseller? No. In fact, it was rejected by every publisher she sent it to. But Elena didn't give up. She saw each rejection as feedback, an opportunity to improve. She revised her novel, honed her craft, and kept writing. 3 years and 2 more novels later, Elena finally got her break. A small publishing house picked up her third novel. It wasn't a massive commercial success, but it received critical acclaim and opened doors for her in the literary world. Today, Elena is a full-time author with several books under her belt. She often says that those early struggles, the blank pages, the rejections, the self-doubt, were the most valuable part of her journey. They taught her perseverance, helped her develop her unique voice, and gave her the resilience to weather the ups and downs of a writing career. Elena's story encapsulates everything we have discussed today. She chose to embrace a significant struggle in pursuit of her dream. She reframed her perspective on challenges, set ambitious but achievable goals, celebrated her efforts, along the way, surround herself with supportive people, and practice self-compassion through the difficult times. Most importantly, Elena understood that the struggle itself was an integral part of her progress. Without those difficult early days, she wouldn't have developed the skills and resilience needed to succeed as an author. It's easy to say, embrace the struggle when we're feeling motivated and energized, but what about those times when the challenges seem overwhelming, when the path forward is unclear and our confidence is shaken? It's crucial to remember that struggle is not a sign of weakness or inadequacy. It's a natural part of any worthwhile endeavor. In fact, if you are not struggling, you are probably not pushing yourself hard enough. When you work out at the gym, the resistance you feel in your muscles is what causes them to grow stronger. Without that resistance, without that struggle, there would be no improvement. The same principle applies to every area of our lives. When you are learning a new skill, the frustration you feel when you can't get it right is part of the process. It's your brain forming new neural connections, adapting to new information. The struggle is literally reshaping your mind, making you more capable than you were before. In your career, those projects that push you to the limit of your abilities, they're not just tasks to be completed. They're opportunities for exponential growth. Each challenge you overcome expands your skill set, increases your value, and opens doors to new opportunities. Even in our personal relationships, struggle plays a vital role. The conflicts we navigate, the compromises we make, the difficult conversations we have, these are all forms of struggle that, when approached with the right mindset, lead to deeper understanding, stronger bonds, and more fulfilling relationships. It's not just about enduring struggle, it's about engaging with it actively and purposefully. It's about seeking out challenges that align with your goals and values and approaching them with curiosity and determination. Meet Dr. James Thompson, a renowned surgeon who revolutionized a particular type of heart surgery. But Dr. Thompson's path to success was far from smooth. As a medical student, James struggled with hand tremors. Many of his professors suggested he choose a different specialty, one that didn't require such steady hands. But James was determined to become a surgeon. Instead of giving up, he decided to confront his challenge head-on. James developed a rigorous training regimen to improve his fine motor control. He practiced suturing for hours each day, often late into the night. He took up hobbies like calligraphy and model building to further refine his dexterity. The process was frustrating and often disheartening. There were many times when James wondered if his critics were right, if he should just give up on his dream. But he persevered. Slowly but surely, his hand control improved. By the time he finished his residency, James had not only overcome his tremors, but had developed an exceptional level of precision in his surgical technique. This hard-won skill led James to innovate new surgical procedures that were less invasive and more precise than traditional methods. His struggle with hand tremors had forced him to approach surgery from a different angle, to think creatively about how to achieve the best outcomes with the steadiest possible movements. Today, Dr. Thompson's techniques have improved outcomes for thousands of patients around the world. The very struggle that threatened to derail his career became the catalyst for his greatest contributions to the field of medicine. James's story teaches us several important lessons about struggle and progress. First, our greatest weaknesses can become our greatest strengths if we are willing to confront them directly. James could have chosen an easier path, but by tackling his challenge head-on, he not only overcame it, but used it as a springboard for innovation. Second, progress often requires us to go above and beyond what others expect of us. James didn't just practice surgery, he engaged in a holistic program of self-improvement that went far beyond his formal training. Third, the skills and mindset we develop through struggle often have applications we can't foresee. James's intense focus on precision didn't just make him a good surgeon, it made him an innovator who changed his entire field. Finally, our struggles can give us unique insights and perspectives that can benefit others. James's techniques, born from his own challenges, ended up helping countless patients. As you reflect on Dr. Thompson's journey, think about your own life. What are the challenges you are facing right now? How might they be opportunities in disguise? What unique strengths or perspectives might you gain by confronting these struggles head-on? Remember, the goal is not to seek out unnecessary hardship. It's to approach the inevitable challenges of life and growth with a mindset that embraces struggle as a pathway to progress. This mindset shift can be transformative in every area of your life. In your career, it means volunteering for the tough projects, seeking out opportunities to learn and grow, even when they're uncomfortable. In your personal development, it means setting ambitious goals and being willing to fail and learn as you work towards them. In your relationships, embracing struggle might mean having those difficult conversations, working through conflicts rather than avoiding them, and being willing to be vulnerable and grow together. In your health and fitness journey, it means pushing yourself to do that extra rep, to run that extra mile, to choose the nutritious meal over the convenient one. Embracing struggle does not mean you have to do it alone. In fact, one of the most powerful things you can do is to build a support network of people who understand and encourage your growth mindset. These are the people who will cheer you on when you're facing challenges, who will offer a different perspective when you are stuck, and who will remind you of your strength and capability when you are doubting yourself. They're also the people who will challenge you, who will push you to be better, who won't let you settle for less than your best. Building this network takes effort. It means being vulnerable, being willing to share your struggles and your ambitions. It means being there for others in the same way, but the payoff is immense. With the right support system, you will find yourself more resilient, more motivated, and more capable of turning struggles into stepping stones for progress. Every great advancement in human history, every personal triumph, every moment of true growth has come through struggle. The Wright brothers and their countless failed attempts before achieving flight. Marie Curie and her years of painstaking research in the face of skepticism and health risks. Nelson Mandela and his decades-long struggle against apartheid. And countless unnamed individuals who have overcome personal challenges, pursued their dreams in the face of adversity, and pushed themselves to grow and improve day by day. You're part of this grand tradition. Your struggles, your efforts to grow and improve, your willingness to face challenges head on. These are what move humanity forward. They're what move you forward. I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Promise that you will embrace the struggles that come your way. Promise that you will see them not as burdens, but as opportunities. Promise that you will keep pushing forward even when it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. Because that's where the magic happens. That's where breakthroughs occur. That's where you discover what you are truly capable of. Remember, the greatest version of yourself is waiting on the other side of struggle. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, brings you one step closer to becoming that person. The journey may be difficult, but I promise you it's worth it. Embrace the discomfort of growth, the uncertainty of pushing your boundaries, the temporary pain of stretching beyond your current capabilities. Remember that struggle is not a linear process. There will be days when you feel like you are taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. This is normal and even necessary. Like just as a muscle needs time to recover and rebuild after a workout, your mind and spirit need time to integrate the lessons learned from each struggle. The process of building resilience, like forging a sword. The metal must be heated, hammered, and cooled repeatedly. Each cycle of stress and recovery makes the blade stronger, more flexible, more capable of withstanding pressure without breaking. You are that sword, and each struggle you face is another round in the forging process. But it's not just about enduring. It's about learning to thrive in the face of adversity. This is where the concept of post-traumatic growth comes into play. It's the idea that people can emerge from challenging experiences with a greater appreciation for life, more meaningful relationships, a stronger sense of personal strength, recognition of new possibilities, and spiritual development. A time when you overcame a significant challenge. How did it change you? Did you discover strengths you didn't know you had? Did it alter your perspective on what's truly important in life? These are the gifts that struggle can bring when we approach it with the right mindset. In our journey of embracing struggle, we must redefine our relationship with failure. Too often we see failure as the end of the road, a sign that we should give up. But in reality, failure is just another form of feedback. It's information that we can use to adjust our approach, refine our skills, and ultimately move closer to our goals. Thomas Edison, in his quest to invent the light bulb, famously said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This perspective transforms failure from a roadblock into a stepping stone. Each failure brought Edison closer to success. teaching him valuable lessons along the way. Adopting this mindset requires practice and persistence. It means training yourself to ask, what can I learn from this? Rather than, why did this happen to me? It means viewing setbacks as temporary and changeable rather than permanent and pervasive. As you cultivate this resilient mindset, you will find that your capacity for handling struggle increases. What once seemed like an insurmountable challenge becomes an interesting problem to solve. The discomfort of growth becomes a familiar friend, a signal that you are on the right track. Embracing struggle does not mean you have to be in a constant state of stress or discomfort. It's about finding the right balance between challenge and recovery, between pushing your limits and allowing yourself time to rest and recharge. Think of it like interval training in fitness. High-intensity periods are followed by recovery periods, allowing for maximum growth and adaptation. In life, periods of intense challenge should be balanced with periods of reflection, rest, and integration. This balance is crucial not just for your mental and emotional well-being, but for your physical health as well. Chronic, unrelenting stress can have serious negative impacts on your body. But when you learn to navigate struggle effectively, to push yourself and then allow for recovery, you build not just mental resilience, but physical resilience as well. Remember that struggle is not just an individual experience. We are all interconnected, and our personal struggles and triumphs ripple out to affect those around us. When you face your challenges head-on, when you persist in the face of difficulty, you are not just changing yourself. You are setting an example for others. You are contributing to a culture that values growth, resilience, and perseverance. Your struggle and your progress become a source of inspiration and motivation for those around you. Moreover, the skills and strengths you develop through your struggles equip you to make greater contributions to the world. The empathy you develop through facing your own challenges allows you to better support others. The problem-solving skills you hone through overcoming obstacles can be applied to solving larger societal issues. In essence, by embracing your personal struggles and using them as catalysts for growth, you are not just improving your own life. You are playing a part in the progress of humanity as a whole. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself as a mighty oak tree. Your roots run deep into the earth, grounding you and providing stability. Your trunk is strong, built up over years of withstanding storms and harsh conditions. Imagine a strong wind begins to blow. Feel it, pushing against your branches, bending them, challenging your strength, but instead of breaking you, flex and sway, the wind, rather than defeating you, is actually making you stronger. It's causing your roots to dig deeper, your trunk to become more resilient, your branches to become more flexible. This is the essence of what it means to embrace struggle as a pathway to progress. The challenges you face are that wind, pushing against you, testing you, but with each gust, each challenge, you are becoming stronger, more resilient, more capable. As you develop this mindset, as you learn to embrace struggle rather than avoid it, you will find that your capacity for growth expands. What once seemed like an insurmountable challenge becomes a stepping stone to even greater achievements. You will start to seek out challenges rather than avoid them. You will view problems as opportunities rather than obstacles. You will develop a resilience that allows you to bounce back from setbacks faster and stronger than before. This does not mean the path will be easy. There will still be days when the struggle feels overwhelming, when you question whether it's all worth it. In those moments, remember why you started. Remember the progress you have already made. Remember that the struggle itself is shaping you, preparing you for even greater things. Think of life as a grand adventure, with each struggle as a new chapter. Some chapters will be more challenging than others, but each one is essential to the overall story. Without the difficult parts, the triumphs wouldn't be as sweet. Without the setbacks, the comebacks wouldn't be as inspiring. You are capable of far more than you realize. The struggles you face are not obstacles to your progress. They are the very things that make progress possible. They are the chisel that sculpts you into your best self, the fire that forges your strength, the wind that helps you grow strong and flexible. So embrace your struggles. Welcome them as old friends, knowing that each one brings with it the seed of greater strength, deeper wisdom, and new opportunities. Face your challenges with courage, knowing that on the other side of them lies a version of yourself that you have yet to meet, a version that is stronger, wiser, and more capable than you can currently imagine. Remember, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. But where there is struggle, progress is not just possible, It's inevitable, so go forth. Embrace your struggles and watch in amazement as you progress beyond your wildest dreams. The world is waiting for the incredible person you're becoming. Don't keep it waiting. Embrace the struggle, make your progress, and show the world what you are truly capable of achieving. Your journey of growth and progress is uniquely yours. No one else can walk your path or face your struggles for you. But in facing them, in pushing through them, you become not just a better version of yourself, but an inspiration to others. Your struggle, your perseverance, your progress, these are gifts not just to yourself, but to the world. So step boldly into the arena of life, face your challenges with courage and determination. Embrace your struggles as the gifts they are, opportunities for growth, catalysts for change, pathways to progress. And as you do, know that you are part of a grand tradition of human striving and achievement, adding your own unique chapter to the story of human progress. The road ahead may be difficult, but you are more than capable of navigating it. You have within you everything you need to turn struggles into strengths, obstacles into opportunities, and setbacks into comebacks. Trust in your ability to grow, to learn, to adapt, and to overcome. Carry with you the knowledge that every struggle you face is an opportunity for progress. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. You have the power to transform your struggles into stepping stones, your obstacles into opportunities, your setbacks into success. So go forth with courage and determination. Embrace the struggles that come your way, knowing that each one is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Face your challenges head on with the confidence that comes from understanding this fundamental truth. The harder the struggle, the greater the progress. Your future self is waiting. The best version of you is on the other side of the challenges you face today. So step boldly into the struggle, knowing that with each step, you are not just making progress, you are becoming progress personified. The world needs your unique gifts, your particular brand of courage, your special kind of resilience. It needs the person you are becoming through your struggles and your triumphs. So don't hold back. Don't shy away from the difficult path. Embrace it, knowing that it's leading you to greatness. Remember, in the grand story of your life, struggle is not the enemy. It's the ally that pushes you to grow, to learn, to become more than you were yesterday. It's the force that propels you towards your dreams, that shapes you into the person you are meant to be. So embrace the struggle, embrace the growth, embrace the journey of becoming the best version of yourself, because in the end, that's what life is all about: continual progress, constant growth, always reaching for something higher. You have within you the power to overcome any obstacle, to rise above any challenge, to turn any struggle into a stepping stone for success. All you need is the courage to embrace the difficulty, the perseverance to keep pushing forward, and the wisdom to recognize that the struggle itself is your path to greatness. Go out there and make progress. Embrace the struggles that come your way, knowing that each one is an opportunity for growth. Face your challenges head on with the confidence that comes from understanding this fundamental truth. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. But where there is struggle, progress is not just possible, it's inevitable. Your journey awaits, your growth beckons. Your progress is calling. Answer that call with courage, with determination, with the unshakable belief that you are capable of greatness, because you are. Now go out there and show the world what you are made of. Your greatest achievements, your most significant progress, lie just on the other side of the struggles you face today. Embrace them and watch yourself soar. I want to start today by sharing a little story with you. When I was a young man just starting out, I had big dreams, but very little in the way of resources or achievements to show for it. I remember one day sitting in a little coffee shop looking around at all the successful business people coming and going in their fancy suits, and I thought to myself, one day that's going to be me. I'm going to be wealthy, confident, and in control of my own destiny. But as I looked down at my scuffed shoes and secondhand clothes, it seemed like more of a fantasy than anything realistic. How could this broke kid from a small town ever become one of those high flyers? It would have been so easy to just give up on those dreams right then and there. Thankfully, though, I had the presence of mind to catch myself before slipping into doubt and despair. I made a decision in that moment that changed the entire trajectory of my life. I decided that instead of waiting to have the trappings of success before I started acting successful, I would adopt that mindset immediately. I would stride into that coffee shop every morning, like I already owned the place. I would shake hands, make eye contact, and carry myself with the poise and confidence of a millionaire entrepreneur. By simply acting as if I had already achieved my goals, I was programming my mind for success. And you know what? It worked. That shift in mindset was the catalyst that propelled me to greater and greater heights. I stopped making excuses and started taking massive action every single day. I adopted the habits and disciplines of highly successful people. I invested in my personal growth, constantly reading, attending seminars, and seeking out mentors who could guide me. Was it easy? Of course not. There were countless times when I wanted to quit, when the obstacles seemed insurmountable and the doubts crept back in. But I refused to give in. I reminded myself daily of the unwavering promise I had made, that I would stay on top, whatever the cost. I would not allow temporary setbacks to shake my unflappable determination. That is the mindset you need to embrace. If you want to achieve something extraordinary in your life, you have to decide once and for all that you are no longer willing to settle for mediocrity. Burn the bridge to a life of complacency and limited thinking. Commit yourself fully to the pursuit of your dreams and never look back. I'm going to let you in on a hard truth. If you want to stay on top, there will be a cost. Success does not come cheap or easy. It will require you to make sacrifices. You may have to miss parties, events, or dinners with friends because you were too busy working. You'll have to wake up early and stay up late, putting in the hard yards when others are relaxing. There will be times of intense stress, loneliness, and self-doubt. But I promise you, it will all be worth it when you finally break through to that level of freedom, abundance, and achievement you've been striving for. That feeling of vindication when you prove all the doubters and naysayers wrong is one of the sweetest tastes of success. The path will not be linear. There will be ups and downs, victories and setbacks, but the ones who stay on top are those who refuse to be derailed by temporary turbulence. They have an unshakable core, a bedrock of certainty that powers them forward despite any obstacles in their way. That's the type of iron-willed resolve you need to cultivate within yourself. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. In the heart of a bustling city, there was once a young artist named Maya who dreamed of opening her own gallery. Despite countless rejections, limited funds, and fierce competition, Mia tirelessly painted every night after her day job, transforming her small apartment into a vibrant studio. One stormy evening, with her most critical gallery review looming, a power outage threatened to halt her progress. Undeterred, Mia worked by candlelight, her brushes dancing in the flickering shadows. Her tenacity paid off. The review was a success, launching her gallery into the spotlight. Mia's unwavering determination had turned her dream into a stunning reality. You see, the greatest risk you can take is to play it safe and cling to your comfort zone. A life of ease and stagnancy is a slow death of the soul. As the famous philosopher Jim Rohn said, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. It's up to you to take full responsibility for your life's direction. Don't be like the multitudes just going through the motions and drifting aimlessly. Have the courage to forge your own path, to sacrifice what is expedient for what is truly important and lasting. And when you find yourself questioning whether it's all worth it, because you will have those moments of doubt, return to your why. Reconnect with the powerful reasons that drive you, that make all the blood, sweat, and tears worth enduring. Is it to provide the ultimate life for your family? To change the world with your ideas and innovations? To prove once and for all that you have an uncommon spirit and are capable of extraordinary feats? Whatever your why, let it be your guiding light, your fixed point amid the storms of adversity that will inevitably come. And let it give you the grit to keep showing up and putting one foot in front of the other, even when you don't feel motivated, even when the finish line appears maddeningly distant. Because momentum and consistency are everything. It's the small, unsexy disciplines that you sustain over months and years that lead to monumental results. Best-selling author and mega coach Darren Hardy refers to this as the compound effect, making a series of small, positive choices that seem insignificant in the moment, but add up enormously over time. He said, smart choices of consistency. Time radically compound results. So start stacking those small wins. The 20 minutes of studying your craft while others are scrolling on their phones. The jog around the neighborhood when your friends are lounging on the couch. The respectful follow-up to that prospective client or employer when others have given up. You'll be amazed at how those steady, simple disciplines lead to startling transformation over time. And you better believe that when you are diligently showing up and outworking everyone else, while they're making excuses, opportunities will find you. The universe has a way of rewarding the hustle, grit, and unwavering faith of those who stay on their grind. I remember hearing a quote from baseball legend Frank Robinson that always stuck with me. Close doesn't count in baseball. Close only counts in horseshoes and grenades. How true that is in any endeavor. Merely being close to success is still failure. You cannot settle for being a close case. You have to cross that finish line no matter what. So many dream chasers get tripped up in the last few yards before their breakthrough because they lack the mental toughness and resilience to see it through to the end. They hit a wall and crumble. But not you, and not after hearing this message today. When you feel like quitting, think about how far you've already come and summon the champion's resolve to keep inching forward. One of the biggest advantages you can give yourself on this journey is to cultivate an unbreakable sense of belief in yourself and your vision. Too often, we are limited more by our own self-doubts and fears rather than any external forces. We sabotage ourselves before we even start by succumbing to disempowering thoughts and imposter syndrome. But from this day forward, you need to develop a deafness to those voices of negativity, whether they come from outside or within your own mind. Replace them with a rippling confidence, an inner knowing that you have permission to operate at full throttle and leave nothing to chance. Start speaking in unambiguous terms. Say, I am going to be a millionaire rather than I want to be a millionaire someday. This may sound like an insignificant mental shift, but it will condition your subconscious to start aligning with the identity and expectation you are affirming. You also must be willing to make bold moves and calculated risks to accelerate your upward trajectory. I'm not advocating recklessness, but rather having the courage to bet on yourself in a big way. Take that leap of faith to start your own venture. Pitch your innovative ideas to influential decision makers. Apply for that high-profile position that seems like a long shot. By making those fearless plays, you signal to the universe that you are an unstoppable force who deeply believes in your purpose and potential. And this bold energy has a miraculous way of attracting the lucky breaks and serendipities that can catapult you to a whole new level. Speaking of levels, always be raising your ambition and hitting next level goals for yourself. As soon as you achieve one milestone, be setting your sights on the next bigger target. Why? Because the moment you start coasting and resting on your laurels is the moment your momentum starts to stall. The great ones are always upgrading, always striving for the next frontier. Their hunger is insatiable. Look at icons like Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk. Their drive to reach perpetually greater heights borders on obsession. But that obsession is exactly what allowed them to shatter norms and rewrite the rules of what's possible. So become obsessed with maximizing your potential and squeezing every last drop out of your God-given abilities. Be ruthlessly self-analytical and constantly identifying your growth edges and areas for optimization. And then take the steps, however uncomfortable, to keep leveling up. Let me give you another quick insight that will be a game changer for you on this journey. Fiercely protect your mindset and the influences you allow into your sphere. You simply cannot overestimate the power of who you surround yourself with and what information you are consuming. If you are spending time with negative, small-minded people who mock your ambitions or encourage you to relax and take it easy, you need to swiftly cut those toxic connections out of your life. Your limited thinking will only breed doubt in your mind and short-circuit your progress. Likewise, be hyper-vigilant about what you're feeding your mind through media, social feeds, etc. Endlessly scrolling through cynical hot takes and outrage bait is a fast track to polluting your mindset with scarcity beliefs. Curate your inputs by aggressively filtering out the noise and negativity and proactively filling your mind with empowering messages from uplifting books, podcasts, YouTube channels, and mentors. Because at the end of the day, this journey of persevering to stay on top will be waged primarily in your mind. It will be an exercise in focus, self-belief, and psychological toughness like few others you've experienced. You will be pushed to your limits and challenged in ways you can't yet imagine. There will be moments when it will seem unbearably difficult to persist. But in those precarious instants, those forks in the road where so many waverers veer off track, you must stay the course with a profound, uncompromising commitment. Never forget the stakes involved and what's riding on you seeing this mission through until the very end. This isn't just about money or status. This is about authoring the story of your life and leaving a legacy of honorable, heroic struggle. This is about staking your claim as one of the rare human beings who decided to push beyond the self-imposed limitations and realize more of their true divinely endowed potential. This is about defying the odds, transcending your upbringing and environmental circumstances, and forging a reality greater than what was predestined for you. When your kids, grandkids, or great-grandkids look back on your life many decades from now, what story will they read? Will it be one of courage, fortitude, and conquest in the face of adversity? Or will it be a story of heartbreaking, unrealized dreams, where you squandered your inner fire and settled for a life of mediocre discontent? That choice lies squarely before you in this very moment. You can keep doing what you've always done and remain on the treadmill of stagnation like the mass of humanity. Or you can decide, right here and right now, to become one of the rare percentage of peak performers who forge an exceptional life through their grit, hunger, and relentless spirit. Make no mistake, taking the road less traveled will be arduous. It will make serious demands on your character, your mental strength, and your tolerance for discomfort. As the old quip goes, if it was easy, everyone would do it. But the beauty of it is that by undertaking such an unconventional quest, you join the sacred fraternity of God's favored, those metaphorical few who have been touched to manifest their full potential in the service of a greater purpose. And trust me, there is no more rewarding, euphoric feeling than looking back on the tremendous odds you defied and valleys you persevered through to claim the extraordinary life you've created. To know, without a shred of doubt, that you gave everything you had and more to manifest your deepest purpose, that is the ultimate salve for the human soul. When I look out at you all, I don't just see business people, entrepreneurs, or corporate strivers. I see men and women created in the image of the divine with incalculable reservoirs of potential lying dormant within you. I see human beings blessed with rare gifts and a commission to leave an indelible, positive mark on this world before your journey is complete. But knowing and actualizing that potential requires fierce intention, clarity, and commitment. It requires that you draw a hard line in your heart, squaring yourself with the immense sacrifice required and swearing to yourself that no matter what happens from this day forward, you will stay on top. You will stay true to your vision and deepest values, no matter how daunting the path becomes. Decide to be that person. Decide to be the uncommon one who lives a life of heroic, unwavering dedication to your highest ideals and callings. The world is starving for those types of inspirational lives. Real people facing real adversities, and not just surviving, but prevailing and coming out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more resolute. Let this be the day you took off the shackles of doubt, of limiting self-beliefs, of convenient excuses, and fully committed yourself to the conquest of your dreams. Let this be the day you stood tall, pointed your compass due north towards your most audacious ambitions, and declared to the world, I will stay on top, whatever the cost. Nothing will deter me or derail me from living into my fullest purpose and potential. This is my journey, my hero's quest, and I vow with every fiber of my being to see it through until my last breath. If you could make that uncompromising commitment to yourself today, I promise you that the rewards awaiting you will transcend your loftiest visions. A world of limitless abundance, freedom and impact lies before you, if only you were willing to pay the price of admission. The choice is yours. Turn and run from the daunting path, or raise your sword in the face of every challenge and storm that will come, and resolve that no force on earth will prevent you from claiming the prize of a life maximized and a purpose fully realized. This is your time. This is your hero's call to adventure. Now, all that remains is to answer the call and then have the guts and glory to see it through all the way to the end. So what's it going to be? Do you have the courage and conviction to stay on top? Or will you wither and die 1,000 comfortable deaths? Choose immortality. Choose relentless self-actualization and a legacy that will ripple outwards for generations to come. Stay on top no matter what the cost, and your life will be an everlasting inspiration for what the human spirit is capable of. The path I'm calling you to walk is not an easy one. In fact, it's one of the most challenging and demanding journeys a human being can undertake. To fully commit yourself to maximizing your potential and achieving uncommon success requires a level of sacrifice, discipline, perseverance that will test you to your absolute core. Make no mistake, there will be days when every fiber of your being screams out for you to quit, to take the easy road, to settle for far less than you're truly capable of. The siren's song of complacency and mediocrity will beckon you constantly, seducing you with visions of an easier, more comfortable life. But in those moments, you must remain hypervigilant and uncompromising. You have to keep front of mind the driving why that set you on this heroic quest to begin with. Was it to build generational wealth for your family? To revolutionize an industry and leave an indelible mark on the world? To finally silence all the doubters and skeptics who never believed in you? Whatever that burning desire is, let it be the perpetual spark that reignites your motivation. Fan those flames daily through revisiting your written goals, vision boards, and the most inspiring resources that fill you with an unshakable sense of purpose and certainty. Because you are going to need immense reserves of energy, faith and determination to persist when the inevitable storms of adversity strike. The winds of criticism, rejection, and short-term failure will howl fiercely at times, trying to blow you off course. Long periods of grinding work behind the scenes with no immediate results will test your patience and commitment. This is when many aspirants fall away, succumbing to disillusionment and the temptation of an easier path with lower risks but also lower rewards. But you cannot afford to be deterred by these trials and tribulations. Respect them and meet them head-on with calm, steadfast poise, and unbreakable resolve. In those darkest moments, one of your greatest assets will be the habits, routines, and disciplines you've ingrained within yourself. While the faint-hearted will be casting about for shortcuts and hacks, you'll be able to remain methodical and purposeful, relentlessly executing your finely tuned systems and rituals for high performance. What do these look like? Maybe it's blocking off scheduled times each day for uncompromised work toward your highest priorities, free from distractions and low-level busy work. Maybe it's adhering to a morning routine of exercise, meditation, prayer, and reviewing your goals to fortify your mindset before the chaos of the day begins. Perhaps it's religiously investing in your continuing education by reading, watching, or listening to paradigm-shifting content that expands your vision and capabilities. The point is, you cannot leave the fundamentals of your success up to chance or fleeting motivation. You have to encode optimized behaviors into automatic habits that become second nature and carry you forward even when you don't feel like it. And be ruthlessly selfish in guarding your habits and high-performance routines. You will have to make tough choices to prioritize them above many other temptations and obligations. Engagements, frivolous time commitments, meaningless, busy work. Anything that threatens to disrupt your finely tuned rhythms of peak productivity and growth must be evaluated with steely cost-benefit analysis. I'm not saying you can never enjoy any leisure or downtime. Even the most zealous high achievers still make space for strategic renewal and recharging of their batteries. But you have to be highly intentional about it, governing your time with a miser's grip instead of lazily frittering it away on empty calories and distractions. Your life will be defined by where you chose to invest your irretrievable capital of time, energy, and focus. That's why you must be merciless in pruning away the inessential from your schedule and environment to create the space for what really matters. This may ruffle some feathers from time to time. There will invariably be people in your life, perhaps loved ones, friends, or colleagues, who don't understand the intensity of your drive and ambition. They may see your all-out devotion to your craft or business as excessive, urging you to slow down, take it easy, or stop being so obsessed. In those cases, you must be unflinching in your conviction while still being diplomatic. Gently, but firmly help them to understand this all-consuming quest is simply part of who you are at your core. Reassure them you are still making time for what's most important, just in a highly strategic and purposeful way. And whatever you do, do not allow their attitudes of complacency or limited thinking to infiltrate your mind and cloud your vision. You may even find you have to drastically minimize your time around certain people if their energy becomes too toxic or they actively attempt to sabotage your efforts. As harsh as that may sound, you must be unwavering in pruning any influences from your life that overtly threaten to undermine your uncompromising forward progress. Your fiercest battlefield will always be between your own two ears. That means being hypervigilant about the thoughts and mindsets you allow to take root. Self-doubt, scarcity beliefs, fear, and other disempowering mental viruses will wage a constant guerrilla war against your subconscious if you let them. That's why building your mindset through empowering influences, books, programs, coaches, mentors, has to be a top priority. But even with these reinforcements, there will still be moments when you are gripped by intense uncertainty and feel like walking away from it all. Everything you've been striving for will suddenly appear riddled with risk, the goalposts seemingly moving further and further away, no matter how hard you push. This is a perilous fork in the road where so many lose their way, because when the inevitable storms of crisis and doubt descend, you have two choices: to crumble and settle for the mirage of safety and comfort, or to lean into the storm with an unbreakable resilience, gritting your teeth and battling through the gale force winds of uncertainty step by step. The latter path is indescribably more difficult in the moment. It will demand you find reservoirs of determination and faith you never knew existed within you. It will require repeatedly defying that voice of fear and limitation urging you to turn back. But by choosing the path of perseverance, no matter the cost, you will forge an ironclad mindset and unshakable internal strength that is truly priceless. You will come to know yourself as a human being of extraordinary resolve and character who does not abandon their dreams or highest values when times get tough. That journey of transcending your psychological and spiritual barriers may be the most arduous you ever undertake. But once you've walked that lonesome valley, staring down the self-imposed limitations that stopped others and claiming the ultimate victory of actualizing more of your innate divine potential, that is one of life's most soul-affirming experiences. And you want to know the best part? Once you've crossed that psychological Rubicon and reinforced that you are a person who doesn't quit or capitulate in the face of obstacles, it becomes almost impossible to splinter that iron-willed self-concept. You will have hard evidence of the incredible fortitude within you, which you can call upon for any worthy challenge or ambition that follows. This journey of persisting to stay on top, no matter what the cost, is not just about financial or career success, although those will very likely be incredible byproducts. No, this is about engaging in a full metamorphosis to emerge as a grander, more heroic version of yourself that has been pressure tested and rendered unstoppable. Through this fiery furnace of self-actualization, you shed the inhibitions and limited thinking that held you captive and fully step into the truth of your greatness and unlimited potential. Now, striding forth with a calm, grounded confidence that cannot be shaken or deterred. Now resonating at an entirely higher energetic frequency that naturally attracts the people, resources, and lucky breaks to elevate you to dizzying new heights. This is not the life of the chosen few, but rather the birthright of any human being willing to continuously choose the path of greatest resistance, willing to stay fully committed to their noble quest, no matter how high the costs become or how daunting the roadblocks may appear along the way. Through your persistence, you ascend to access levels of performance, power, joy, and influence that were always within you, but previously capped by self-imposed limitations. So decide right now, once and for all, is this transformation and access to your highest self-actualization worth the price of admission? Are you willing to shed the comfortable skin of the person you are today to give birth to a more heroic, undaunted version of yourself forged in the fires of your commitment, grit, and unwavering faith? If so, then welcome to the crucible, my friend. From this point forward, there can be no turning back, no more vacillating, no more compromise on the depths of your ambition. You are now one of the sacred few who has chosen the razor's edge, one of the elite initiates who will stop at nothing until you realize every ounce of your true potential and leave this world vastly transformed by the force of your focus, unstoppable. It will be arduous. There will be times when you question everything and wonder if it's all worth it, but you must persist. Stay on target, no matter how fierce the headwinds become. And I promise you, though, the path ahead is demanding. The greatest version of yourself awaits you on the other side, beckoning you forth into a new stratosphere of achievement, abundance, and self-actualized bliss. Claim your glory and decide today to stay on top, whatever it takes, whatever the cost.